Have you ever stopped to think, really think, that something as harmless as what you do every morning, maybe a pill you take, a drink you reach for, or even what you eat for lunch, could be quietly, slowly, damaging your kidneys? I'm not talking about things that look dangerous. I'm talking about the silent stuff. The stuff that hides in your normal routine. The stuff that seems harmless, until it's not. What if I told you that one of your most trusted daily habits, something you've done for years without a second thought, could be quietly pushing your kidneys toward failure? And worse, you wouldn't even feel it happening. No pain. No warning. Just slow, steady decline. You see, the kidneys aren't dramatic. They don't scream when something's wrong. They whisper. And most people don't hear that whisper until it's far too late. And here's the truth most folks over 60 never hear: your kidneys aren't what they used to be. They've worked hard for decades, filtering your blood, balancing your fluids, clearing out toxins, every single day. But as you age, they start to struggle. Quietly. Gradually. Like an engine that's been running for miles and miles without maintenance. The worst part? Most of the things that speed up that damage are completely avoidable. And chances are, you're doing at least one of them right now. Some, maybe even daily. And number 4 on this list? It's so common, most seniors do it without ever realizing it's hurting them. I mean, it's praised as a healthy choice. But the truth? It could be making things worse. Now listen. This isn't about fear. This is about awareness. Because the more you know, the better you can protect yourself. Your independence. Your health. And your peace of mind. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 kidney killers after 60, the things every senior should know, but most never get told. I'll break down what they are, how they harm you, what signs to watch for, and most importantly, what you can do starting today to take better care of your kidneys. Simple changes. Real solutions. No heavy medical talk, just the truth, spoken clearly and from the heart. So, grab a glass of water, take a deep breath, and stay with me. Because your health deserves your full attention. And before we dive in, do me a favor. Comment, "Protect my kidneys," down below if you're ready to take your health seriously. Let me know you're here. That you care. That you're ready to make wiser choices moving forward. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community here at Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we share daily tips, stories, and advice to help you age with strength, dignity, and clarity. Alright, let's begin. Let's talk about what's hurting your kidneys, and what you can do to stop it. Before it's too late. 1. Overuse of over-the-counter painkillers. Let me tell you about George. He's 72, a retired carpenter from Ohio. Hard-working hands, a proud man who built his life, quite literally, from the ground up. But lately, arthritis has settled into his fingers, like an uninvited guest that never leaves. Every morning, he wakes up with stiffness in his knuckles. Some days, the pain is a dull throb. Other days, it bites. So, to get by, George reaches for what so many others do. Ibuprofen. A couple of tablets with his morning coffee. He thinks nothing of it. It's over the counter. It doesn't need a prescription. It must be safe, right? But here's the truth, painkillers like ibuprofen and naproxen, known as NSAIDs, aren't as innocent as they seem. Especially not when you're over 60. These drugs work by reducing inflammation. But they also reduce blood flow to your kidneys. And your kidneys? They need a steady, healthy flow of blood to filter toxins, balance your body's fluids, and keep your blood pressure in check. When that flow gets interrupted, even a little, but often, it slowly starts to damage the tiny filters inside your kidneys. Over time, they harden. They shrink. And before you know it, your kidney function has slipped, and you didn't feel a thing until it was already well underway. And here's what most folks get wrong. They think that because a medication is sold on a shelf at the local pharmacy, it's completely safe. But for aging kidneys, these drugs can be dangerous when taken too often, for too long, or without a doctor's oversight. Even small doses, taken daily, can build up and cause harm. It's not about the size of the pill, it's about the time and frequency. So, what can you do? If you're living with chronic pain, you deserve relief. But not at the cost of your kidneys. Talk to your doctor. Ask if there are safer alternatives, maybe physical therapy, or warm compresses in the morning and evening. Some people find relief in natural anti-inflammatories like turmeric. Others use gentle stretching routines or switch to pain creams that don't affect the kidneys at all. It's not about avoiding help, it's about choosing the right help. Because the right support can ease your pain without sacrificing your kidneys. And remember, it's not just what you take that matters. It's also what you don't do that can quietly cause trouble over time. So, let's look at the second habit, one that sounds simple, but it's actually one of the most common kidney risks among older adults. 2. Inadequate water intake. Now let's talk about Evelyn. She's 68, lives alone, keeps her garden tidy, and loves crossword puzzles in the morning sun. But there's one thing she's always been careful about: drinking water. See, Evelyn avoids it. Not because she doesn't like it, but because she hates those late-night trips to the bathroom. You know the ones. The cold floor, fumbling for slippers, the groggy walk down the hall. She tells herself, if I drink less water during the day, maybe I won't wake up 3 times at night. Sound familiar? You're not alone. A lot of seniors do exactly the same thing. It makes sense, less water, less peeing, right? But here's the part most folks don't know. Your kidneys depend on water. They need it like your car needs oil. Without enough water flowing through your body, your kidneys can't filter waste properly. That toxic buildup? It starts to sit. And over time, it creates the perfect environment for kidney stones, and urinary tract infections, and gradual decline in function. Think of your kidneys like a pair of hard-working filters. When they don't have enough fluid to work with, they get sluggish. And as we age, our sense of thirst isn't as sharp as it used to be. So even if your body needs water, you might not feel thirsty. That's where the danger lies. Not feeling thirsty doesn't mean you're hydrated. It means your body has gotten used to being dry. And over time, that quiet dehydration adds up. Now here's another common misconception. Many seniors assume that less water means less discomfort. But the truth is, avoiding water doesn't just strain the kidneys, it also makes your urine more concentrated. That irritates the bladder, increases your risk of infections, and ironically, can make those bathroom trips more urgent. Less water doesn't fix the problem. It often creates new ones. So, what can you do, especially if you're worried about nighttime trips? Try sipping water throughout the day instead of gulping it all at once. Keep a glass by your favorite chair. Take small sips while you watch TV, read, or rest. And if you find plain water boring, add a slice of lemon, a few mint leaves, or some cucumber. It adds a touch of flavor, without sugar, without calories, just enough to make it refreshing. Also, consider front-loading your hydration. Drink more in the morning and early afternoon, and taper off a bit before bed. This way, you're still giving your kidneys what they need, without keeping yourself up all night. It's all about balance. And when your kidneys have the right tools, they work better, they last longer, and you feel stronger. Still with me? Good. Because the next one is a big one. It's something almost every senior does. And the scary part? Most people think it's healthy. They do it every single day, without blinking, but it could be one of the most overlooked kidney killers of them all. 3. Excessive salt intake, the daily habit. Now let's talk about Henry. He's 75, a widower, and like many seniors, he prefers meals that are easy to prepare, quick, no fuss. Most days, lunch looks like a warm bowl of canned soup, maybe a few slices of deli meat on a sandwich, a pickle on the side. Simple. Familiar. And to Henry, it feels like he's eating well. But here's what Henry didn't know, those foods? They're packed with something your kidneys absolutely hate. Salt. And not just a sprinkle here and there. We're talking hundreds, sometimes thousands, of milligrams of sodium, hiding in plain sight. Now, salt isn't the enemy. Your body needs a little to function. But the truth is, too much salt quietly raises your blood pressure. And high blood pressure. That's one of the leading causes of kidney damage in older adults. Here's why. Inside your kidneys are tiny, delicate blood vessels, like the roots of a tree. They're responsible for filtering your blood, removing waste, balancing fluids. But when your blood pressure rises from excess salt, it puts pressure on those vessels. It's like turning up the water pressure in a garden hose. Eventually, the hose weakens, and so do your kidneys. And the sneaky part? Most people think they've got salt under control. They say, I don't add salt to my food. I even threw out my salt shaker. But that's not the full story. The real culprit isn't the salt you add. It's the salt that's already there. In processed foods. In boxed meals. In canned soups, salad dressings, crackers, even healthy, frozen dinners. That's why seniors like Henry, who never touched the salt shaker, can still be eating double, even triple the recommended sodium every day. So, what can you do? Start reading labels. Look for low sodium, no added salt, or better yet, make simple meals from scratch when you can. Even small switches make a big difference. Try fresh chicken instead of deli slices. Use herbs and spices like garlic, basil, or rosemary instead of salt. Flavor doesn't have to come from sodium. It can come from nature. If you're craving soup, try a homemade batch using low-sodium broth and fresh vegetables. Make extra and freeze it, just like the store-bought kind, but far better for your body. And if you're not sure how much salt is too much, here's a simple number to keep in mind. Try to stay under 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. That's about 2/3 of a teaspoon. For the whole day. It sounds like a small change, but the impact is huge. Lower salt means lower blood pressure. Lower pressure means healthier kidneys. And healthier kidneys mean more energy, better balance, and a stronger you. But here's the thing, even if you eat clean, even if you've mastered your salt intake, there's one more habit that could still be quietly harming your kidneys. And the strangest part? This one's often praised as being good for your health. It's in every article, every diet plan, every senior wellness guide, but done the wrong way, it might be doing more harm than good. 4. High-protein diets. Let me introduce you to Linda. She's 67, newly retired, and determined to stay active. After years of working a desk job, she finally had time to focus on her health. She wanted to feel stronger, keep her weight in check, and stay energized. So, she did what many well-meaning seniors do. She searched online, read a few health blogs, watched a couple of videos, and landed on something that sounded perfect, a high-protein diet. Every morning started with eggs and sausage. Lunch meant grilled chicken and cottage cheese. Dinner was lean beef and a protein shake on the side. It felt healthy. It felt clean. And everywhere she looked, the message was the same: protein builds muscle. Protein burns fat. Protein is the key to aging well. But here's what those articles didn't tell her. As helpful as protein is, it's not all gain. Especially not for aging kidneys. You see, when you eat protein, your body breaks it down. And one of the byproducts is something called nitrogen waste. Now, this waste isn't toxic, as long as your kidneys are strong enough to flush it out. But here's the catch: the more protein you eat, the harder your kidneys have to work to get rid of that waste. And when you're over 60, your kidneys are already slowing down. The filters are aging, the blood flow is reduced, and their ability to process high loads gets weaker with time. Flooding your system with protein, meal after meal, day after day, is like forcing a tired engine to run at full speed, without ever changing the oil. It's quiet damage. No loud symptoms. No instant crash. Just gradual overwork. Until one day, you're told your kidney function is dropping, and you're wondering, how did that happen? Now, don't get me wrong. Protein is important. Your body needs it to repair tissue, maintain muscle, and fight illness. But here's the key that most people miss: balance. More is not always better. Especially if you've been told you have reduced kidney function, high blood pressure, or diabetes. So, what can you do? First, look at the type of protein you're eating. Animal proteins like red meat and cheese are often harder on the kidneys in large quantities. Try mixing in plant-based sources like beans, lentils, nuts, tofu, and quinoa. These foods are rich in nutrients but gentler on the body's filtering system. Second, space it out. Instead of loading all your protein into one meal, spread smaller portions across the day. And don't forget, many vegetables and whole grains contain protein too. You might be getting more than you think. If you're using protein shakes, check the label. Some of them are packed with far more protein than your body needs in one sitting. You might only need half a scoop, not 2. Talk to your doctor or a dietitian. Ask them how much protein is right for your age, your weight, and your kidney health. What's right for a 30-year-old gym trainer might be very different from what's safe for you. You don't have to give up protein, just give your kidneys a chance to keep up. Remember, it's not about eating less. It's about eating smart. And now, we've come to the final habit. One that's almost always forgotten. You won't feel it. You might not even think about it. But it can be one of the quietest destroyers of kidney health in older adults. 5. Ignoring regular kidney screenings. Let me tell you about Paul. He's 70 years old, retired from the post office, and one of the kindest men you'd ever meet. Paul had high blood pressure for years. He also managed his diabetes fairly well. Took his medications, went to checkups, the usual. But there was one thing he never thought to ask about: his kidney function. He felt okay. He had a little fatigue now and then, but who doesn't, right? Some swelling in the ankles, but he blamed it on the long walks from his mail-carrying days. By the time the real symptoms started showing, trouble concentrating, shortness of breath, constant tiredness, 60% of his kidney function was already gone. That's the heartbreaking thing about kidney disease. It doesn't shout. It doesn't knock on your door and tell you it's here. It creeps in silently. Over months, sometimes years. And by the time you feel it, it's usually already advanced. You see, your kidneys can lose a huge portion of their ability before any clear symptoms appear. No pain. No warning signs you'd easily notice. That's why doctors call it a silent killer, because it gives you no obvious clues until it's too late to reverse the damage. And here's one of the biggest misconceptions I hear: if I don't feel anything, I must be fine. But when it comes to your kidneys, feeling fine is not the same as being fine. Especially if you're over 60. Especially if you're living with high blood pressure. Especially if you have diabetes or take medications that affect the kidneys, like NSAIDs, diuretics, or certain antibiotics. So, what should you do? Start by getting screened. It's a simple blood test. Just ask your doctor to check your creatinine levels and calculate your eGFR, that stands for estimated glomerular filtration rate. This test shows how well your kidneys are filtering waste from your blood. It's quick, it's affordable, and it could literally save your life. You can also ask for a urine test to check for protein. Protein in the urine can be one of the earliest signs of kidney stress, even before your blood work shows a problem. And here's the truth, getting tested doesn't mean you're sick. It means you're smart. It means you're proactive. It means you care about staying ahead of the curve and giving yourself the best chance at a healthy, independent life. These checkups should be annual, once a year. Just like checking your vision or your cholesterol. Because your kidneys work for you every single day. The least we can do is check in on them now and then. So now you know the 5 habits. 5 things that could quietly be affecting your kidneys without you even realizing it. Some are daily routines. Some are misunderstandings. And one of them is simply not knowing what's going on inside your own body. But knowledge is power. And now you have it. But that brings us to a different kind of challenge. Not the physical side of kidney health, but the emotional weight of it all. Because when you realize you've been doing things that might be harming you, it's hard not to feel a little overwhelmed. You know, hearing that everyday routines could actually harm you, that's a heavy realization. Especially when those habits were comforting. Things you've trusted for years. A couple of painkillers for the joints. A warm bowl of canned soup after a long day. Skipping water to avoid too many nighttime bathroom trips. These didn't feel like dangerous decisions. They felt like survival. Like coping. So yes, it's unsettling to realize that some of the things you've done just to make life a little easier might have quietly placed a burden on your kidneys. That organ working 24/7 without thanks, filtering your blood, regulating your minerals, balancing your fluids. All while staying completely silent. But here's something deeper, it's not your fault. You weren't careless. You weren't ignoring your health. You were doing the best you could, with the information you had. And now you have more information. Now you have more power. And that changes everything. Because this isn't about guilt. Or regret. This is about growth. It's about stepping into this chapter of life with your eyes wide open, your heart ready, and your spirit intact. Let's move from fear to preparedness. You're not helpless. You're not too late. You're not broken. Every action you take from here on out, every glass of water, every low-sodium swap, every time you pause before reaching for that daily painkiller, that's an act of love toward your body. You're doing this not because you're scared, but because you're wise. Because you've lived enough life to know the value of prevention. And the cost of delay. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. Just start small. Maybe today, it's an extra glass of water at lunch. Maybe tomorrow, it's choosing fresh veggies over packaged snacks. Maybe this weekend, you finally make that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. These steps, they're not tiny. They're transformative. Because they're rooted in intention. And intention has power. And listen, even if you've made every single mistake we talked about today, it's not too late. Your body is incredible. It has this quiet strength, this quiet will to heal. And with just a little help from you, it can still protect you for years to come. So take heart. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And that's the strongest place to begin. So let's bring it all together. Here's a quick recap of the 5 hidden kidney dangers we uncovered today: overusing over-the-counter painkillers, not drinking enough water, eating too much salt, especially hidden in packaged foods. Following high-protein diets without moderation. And skipping those crucial annual kidney checkups. Now, each one of these, it might seem small on its own. But over time, they can quietly chip away at your kidney function, especially as we age. But here's the empowering part: every one of these habits is changeable. Not overnight. Not perfectly. But steadily, and surely, with care and awareness. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these surprised you the most? Have you or someone you love ever had kidney issues? Do you have a tip that helped you manage your hydration, diet, or medication? We read every single comment. This is a community. And your story might be the one that helps someone else take their first step toward change. If this video spoke to you, if it made you pause, reflect, or even feel a little more hopeful, tap that like button. And hit subscribe to join us every day here on Elderly Wisdom Guide. We bring you honest, comforting, and practical health tips tailored for older adults, because we believe aging should come with dignity, clarity, and peace of mind. And finally, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. For listening, for learning, and for being part of this space. You have more control over your health than you think. So stay curious. Stay gentle with yourself. Stay committed to small, meaningful steps. And above all, stay wise. Until next time, this is Elderly Wisdom Guide, wishing you peace, strength, and good health.